Who wants to do the intro? I'm just a little like snotty.
Did I do the intro last
Sorry.
time? I feel like I did the intro last time.
Uh,
Eska, do you want to do the intro?
I don't want to, but I will if I have
to. We should start the episode there.
I mean, we can. That's like a good start, actually. So we're live now, I guess. Welcome to the Dawn of Writing, where we look at old writing. I'm Rhaegar, author of Dawn. With me is Brooke.
Hey guys, I'm Brooke. I'm an editor over at Portal Books, and I've been doing this for a little while, but don't listen to anything I have to say because it's mostly bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, same, pretty much. We're just here to talk about stuff, so, you know. Also with us is Hesketh.
Hello. I'm here too, and I write stuff, and I have a lot of opinions about everything, which sometimes I express, yes. Sometimes.
In a podcast. Because
it's been a while, so I'm nervous again.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're just break.
Yeah. So we're just a bunch of people that like writing and reading, some of us. And this is something we started a while ago. We're at chapter 3 now of Dawn. If you want to read along and you haven't listened to any of the episodes, you can probably find the link wherever we post this, or go to Royal Road, go to Azerin Fila, which should be somewhere, and go to my profile, Rhaegar, to fictions, and find the fiction called Dawn. And on that one, you can go to chapter 3, which is the chapter we will be talking about today. Maybe to recap, I don't know if you guys remember what happened. Maybe we can do a little recap as well. I think it would be funny.
As we get further and further into the story, I think
it
will make more and more sense to do recaps.
Yeah, but now it's funny because we've had a break in real life, kind of. So
I
don't actually remember what we did.
I'm actually very interested in what you guys think of the story so far.
Is very vivid for me. I'll forget other things, but not the story. This is Georg and his naked people and their adventure and his quest to find a bow. And then there's a girl and she's 12 and she something to do with wolves.
We didn't get attacked by a bear.
Yes, and there's bears. It's all very
Mauling
exciting.
bears.
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't finish chapter 1 yet, but we'll probably do that at some point. But that's fine.
When they're listening to it, we'll probably finish chapter 1.
Probably, hopefully. Maybe we'll forget and it's just half and it's like, what the fuck are these guys doing? I mean, it's already very unprofessional with like snippets. Like we wanted to do it as like a bonus episode, but I guess the initial reactions are like the funniest, so we'll probably just use that and kind of cut it together so that's like this weird chapter 1 episode and everyone's going to be like, what the fuck is this bullshit? And
you guys will love it. You guys will love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Genuinely one of the funniest hours of my life.
Oh, wow. I'm glad I could provide that for you. My dude.
The moment we all see the M dashes, that is like the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't replicate that. I'm sorry. It's just
Yeah, it's true. I mean, at least like people that write will think it's probably funny. So, and this honestly, like, I mean, I don't expect anyone to listen to this other than like a bunch of writers.
Maybe my mom.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know if my parents will listen to it. They don't speak English very well.
I hope my parents don't. It's way too much.
I can force Amelia to listen to it. But just put it on her crib. She won't have any choice.
Nice. I've sent my sent my story to my parents, and I was like, they don't speak English, so it doesn't matter, right? They can just look at it and be like, oh, this is cool. He writes, I guess. And then at some point my dad like showed me his phone and he was like, look, I can translate it with Google Chrome. And I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
Fuck. That's bad. Yeah. So I don't know. He's not an avid reader of lit RPG, let's say it that way.
But it's always a very strange thing when your family members read what you write. I don't like it.
Oh yeah, man. Especially when you're writing a niche genre. Like my parents read Gamify and they were like, huh. That was interesting. Like you could tell they really wanted to say positive things, but they were struggling to find things to say.
My mom goes, oh, I wish I could send this to my sister, but it's just not very nice.
Wow. Ow. I mean, like in a dark and depressing kind of way.
Yeah. Because it's not wholesome enough, you see. Yeah. It's too much.
Because I mean, what you do have is prose, right? So it's just depressing as fuck sometimes.
Yes, that's right.
I mean, I guess it's kind of the point. So
too much necromancy.
Yeah, there was. I mean,
beautiful and sad.
Yeah, like one thing. I mean, maybe for people that are listening, we've been talking for like 5 minutes or so. This is how it's gonna be. Like, this is. I mean, if you've listened to previous episodes, I mean, if you started episode 3 or 4 or whatever this is,
then you're weird.
Good on you. That's very chaotic. I like that.
Tenacious.
Yeah, just start at episode 4. Like, yeah, see how it goes. See if you get the context. Like maybe you like Memento or something, and you consume all your media backwards. That way. Yeah, they're like figuring out how is this gonna work. I mean, maybe it's gonna give Dawn some depth, so that's not bad, I guess. One thing I wanted to mention with the whole like parents reading, there was a post on like I think it was Our Writing even, or like one writing Reddit about a guy who writes like fantasy and erotica, and I think that's his main income or like main side income. And he mentioned it came up or something like his dad started reading it, and then his dad showed it to his mom, and they really like it. But now he's stuck on a scene, and he has to write the sex scene, and he can't do it because he just constantly thinks of his parents. And he's like, "What should I do? I'm stuck. I have a deadline on Saturday, and I haven't written a single word." And I'm just like, "That's great. That's awesome." And people are talking about like boundaries and like how he should talk to his parents and should tell them that they shouldn't read it and stuff. Like that was very wholesome.
That's pretty hilarious.
So yeah, chapter 3. Georg. 6 months after Hope. Summer. So it's summer now. It was winter before. There was snow. Hope, I guess, Hour of Hope. Was that the thing? Like where they appear in this different place that we still don't know what it is.
The Hour of Hope.
Yeah.
Yes. Very
but
dramatic.
like we don't know where they are. Like, I mean, obviously it's like a kind of world-shifting fantasy thing, but that's never been mentioned, right? It was just mentioned that there's magic with the girl, though, and I don't know if we got that far. But there was blood exploding, so that was a thing.
Yeah, no, there was.
I don't even think that we know that George is in the same world that the girl is. I mean, obviously we assume probably as the reader, but
I mean, you guys didn't finish chapter 1, so you know you don't understand the plot at all. Like it's very.
I see.
Everything's explained. Everything's in there if you just go and check. Jesus.
Those last, 2 or 3 paragraphs that we didn't read from chapter 1?
No, there was quite a lot. There was the actual fight scene. That was probably good because that's the only thing I can do. There was like one post that I saw earlier today where someone was like, they hated on Azurinth, and then they were like, and the fight scenes are shit. And I was like, fuck. I've never heard that one.
Don't take that away from me.
Don't take the only thing I had. Like, so that was my dad, probably. Yeah.
Now you're just fishing for compliments.
What? No. I get enough positive feedback. Probably too much. Like I need to be grounded. It's good. Some negativity is good.
That's why we're doing this, I guess.
I mean, you guys were like, we're just bashing. I'm like, yeah, it's bad. Like, I mean, it's good that I wrote this. This is like a start, potential. I guess. And it was fun writing it, so that was kind of the point, right? But yeah, I mean, it's probably going to get a lot worse. I don't remember a lot of the story, so...
To be fair, this is better than some of the stuff I wrote when I was starting out, so...
Right. No, ditto. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys are not native speakers, right? So it's understandable.
You'll notice that neither of us have volunteered our writing for criticism just yet.
Yeah, you're gonna have a bad time. Okay, so M- holds, which means this is a dialogue tag.
Just in case you didn't know.
Yes.
I mean, it's so obvious, but, you know.
It's pretty clear in the formatting, right? Hold the bow steady. Oh, we're back to the bow. That's nice. Breathe slowly and controlled. Very good. Okay, now in the context that he's into bows, this is very interesting. So Georg, as you maybe remember, had a bow, and he talked about it very, like in a lot more detail than anything else was described, I believe.
Intimately.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about it intimately.
Intimate relationship with his bow. With his great bow. with explosive arrows. I can just think about it. It's like, nice. Maybe I should write erotica about that and show it to my dad. Hold the bow steady. Breathe slowly and controlled. Very good. And controlled, that doesn't make any sense, right? That's German.
It threw me a little bit. Breathe slowly and controlled, like that.
Yeah.
Didn't quite sound right. Like, I know exactly what it's trying to convey, but it's just a little bit weird. The phraseology.
I still do that sometimes, but that's just German. It's like, yeah. And again, like 3 dots and then whatever that's called, and then there's no space, which bothers me.
Yeah, space after ellipses. I have changed so many of those.
But this is like very showy. That's good. I like this line. Hold the bow steady.
Well, it shows the action, like, because I assume that he's teaching someone how to use a bow, and then it goes ... very good. And so, like, for a second, I thought that he was talking to himself, and then when he gets to the very good, I was like, oh, okay, he's teaching somebody, which is nice to kind of like the dialogue is being quite descriptive there.
Yeah, and it's like you understand that they managed to build bows, which means like there's like a progression in technology because they were like naked. I mean, they were progressing pretty quickly already, but it's like, yeah, it's showing that they're progressing, that they're kind of building some kind of like, or like that he's teaching someone. That's already like a sign that they're not purely surviving anymore. They're like, they have time to teach people things. So I think this is a pretty good line. It's very concise, very traditional writing. Good.
Yeah.
Georg praised one of his disciples. Okay, that destroys it again because it's like, it's telling what's already kind of been shown, kinda, I guess. Also, disciple is a strange word here. A student
disciple
would be
very weird choice.
It's like
words,
a cult.
It's a bit.
But that was just, I didn't know that. I probably looked
June.
it up. I probably had to look it up and then probably put like follower or something in German and then it showed disciple. And I was like, oh, I like that. Yeah. The fact that he actually used a bow in the war helped him a tremendous amount in this new world. Yes. I think that is clear at this point, but maybe I just wanted to underline that, yes, he did indeed use a bow in the war.
I definitely would have written that differently. Like, his bow skills were, good for more than killing, in this new world or something, or, his bow skills were...
The way his firm hands
were a valuable asset in this new world or whatever. But, like, the fact that he helped him a tremendous amount kind of feels very...
It's just unnecessary. Like, it's like, yeah, we know. Also, like, you said using the bow for something else than killing. Like, what do you mean? Like, what else is there?
As I said that, I realized that was actually completely wrong. What I kind of meant to say was,
I wanted to point it out because I was like, that's... He like, afterwards, I was like, he's just ignoring it.
Just let me have it, but no.
That fine. Was like, that would be the socially, like, adept thing to do. But in this setting, I think it's funny. Point it out. It's like,
I think what I was trying to say was
this guy's an editor, everyone. Like...
Yeah. This is why I kept you every episode with don't listen to what I say.
No, I do listen.
What was I saying?
That's why.
Oh no, yes. I was saying I think the thing here that I find really interesting is that he's teaching somebody, right? So he's using skills that were probably used to just kill people, and he's actually like, teaching someone, so therefore, like, even though he's teaching them to kill, I assume, animals, this moment of him actually teaching somebody is a much more kind of quiet, positive moment, using his skills that were, mostly used for war. True. And probably have negative associations. This is a positive moment. So I think that's what I'm trying to get.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I also like it as a characterization thing now that you say that. Like, I didn't think about that before, but like, he's like a soldier, I guess. That's what we learned. Like, he's killing people and stuff. So this is very like, he can deal with people as well. He can be like a teacher person.
Yeah.
Which is a positive trait, I guess, compared to just a killing machine.
You guys are being very optimistic. Dimension. I feel like they could just be hunting the people outside. We don't know anything.
I guess it's possible. I guess
we don't know it's wholesome.
Have someone tied to a stake right now and be like, yeah, very good, you hit them in the throat.
Exactly, aim for
like
the kidneys.
Like one of those murder scenes in like all the assassin movies.
The eyeballs like squish.
He's forcing this like 8-year-old to like execute somebody.
Exactly.
Another 8-year-old. It's like Hunger Games, but worse. Like more edgy. More edgy and more like politically incorrect. Right. Yeah. So
I will take it as positive, but let's see where it goes.
Okay, M-. I will check on Agrid. Strange name. Keep training until lunch.
Oh yeah, like you were reading Harry Potter and you just removed an H because you were like, oh, that's a good name.
Nah, I never read it actually. Nah, no.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I did watch it though. Maybe that was in that time. I don't think so though.
Actually, if you look at these two names together, Hagrid is just Hagrid without the H, and George is just like George without an E. Just like I just feel like you're just like chopping off the start and ends of names to make new ones.
Yeah, maybe that was my go-to. After that, I discovered like that there was this really great website on I think it was a Disney website with like 1,000 most popular names for like girls and boys, and that one was so good because I don't know, all of those names I liked, because all these name generators that I tried were just bad. Like they just came up with stupid shit. So now I come up with them myself again. But there was a time where I used that and it was like cool names, and I was like, oh, that's nice, I can use that. But now it's you have to log in. If you click on the link, you have to kind of log in, and I was like, fuck that. No.
I always go to like Nameberry or something. All the
Nameberry. You have to send me that at some point. Maybe I'll check
the baby websites.
I mean, I mostly just have to check, did I use this name before? Because I write the weirdest names and then I'm like, I search it in my document. I'm like, okay, I used it before. Because I've had people complain about that, like, don't reuse names, it's confusing. I'm like, that was like 500 chapters ago. How do you even remember that? Like,
they probably read.
You have a lot of characters. It's gonna be pretty hard not to double up.
Yeah, dude.
And in real life, people like the world, like people do have the same names. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like yeah, but I understand it. And I mean, normally you don't have a fiction that is like 17 chapters long, like Dawn, which is very long.
And also, like, if you had like 200 Hagrids, it would probably be noteworthy.
That's funny though. That again is like it's like that like in Fallout 3, I think, or Fallout New Vegas. I think that was Fallout 3. That was like one of the walls had like clones. I don't remember the name. I think Gary. And everyone had the same dialogues, I think. And it became kind of a joke somewhere, like a meme, like Gary. Or something like that. Maybe I remember it wrong, but it was kind of funny. It's like old school internet shit. Okay. Keep training until lunch. I will check on Hagrid. Yeah, I mean, the line is fine. Like, there's nothing. Yeah. They have lunch time, so it seems like a more chill setting now compared to like the hunting setting or like the. I mean, maybe he's just having this guy kill a guy and then they have lunch, which is, again, would be interesting. More interesting than what it probably is, right? But
murder makes you hungry.
I mean, I don't know that, but sure. I mean, you do. I know you do have to research, Eskev. So
I assume it's a strenuous activity.
So, understood, Georg. Thanks for the help. Understood maybe as like a military thing, I don't know. Can't wait to snipe my first wolf. Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
I mean, this guy is either like trying to sound like a really military person or is a military person, but like just talks really weird.
Do people say snipe in like a serious context? Because to me that's like this 420 MLG Halo 3.
Yeah, I think it's more likely that this guy is trying to like sound military-y to somebody who knows is a soldier but isn't actually a soldier.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like you guys didn't laugh, so I guess snipe is like a serious verb to use. I didn't know that. I thought snipe.
I don't think it's a serious verb. I think it's that what I mean is like this guy's like a noob who's like trying to sound cool, but then he uses the word snipe because he thinks in a very edgy from his like video game experience, he thinks that it's the right thing to say, but it clearly isn't.
Yeah, okay. We'll see about that. Ha ha ha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's like a conversation.
Writing out laughter.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because now you don't know how he laughs. It could be anything. Yeah.
I just assume he laughs exactly how you said it.
I mean, it's like we can talk about what's it called, like offer intent, or whatever.
Yes.
Okay, now it's like a thought again because that's how I formatted it. Don't die on your first hunt and we'll talk. That's very edgy, but that's very Georg. Like, it's very him to think that. Like, yeah. Don't die on your first hunt, boy, and we'll talk.
Kind of makes me think of like the Kratos from.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of because there was a scene in the game where he's like teaching him to shoot the bow.
Yeah.
And the kid misses, right? And he's like, boy. can't do the voice right now. My voice is fucked. But sometimes I can do it.
So good.
It's really good.
So good.
I love that relationship. So yeah, I kind of like that in general. Like this, yeah. But it's not what this is going to be, I think, as far as I remember. But, he left the training grounds and went... ground? Would that work? Training ground. Isn't it always grounds?
I think it is pretty much always grounds, yeah.
It's like one, because you can't... Yeah, it doesn't work, yeah.
Plurals training grounds. English is weird with...
Yeah, I mean, English is pretty weird with S's.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why. I don't know that, but yeah. He left the training ground and went straight to the center of Hofen, which is a very German word. So I guess I made up German words for cities and stuff. Hofen, which is German pronunciation. Hofen, I guess, would be the English one. Hofen was the village Georg and a couple thousand survivors started to build after they realized how many people stranded in this new world. Well, that's a lot of information.
They found a few thousand people.
He only appeared with like a dozen, right?
Yeah, they had like a helicopter full, and then that suddenly...
Yeah. So like all of this setup with the war and like this stuff we talked about in the episode where we talk about the chapter where they arrive, these naked people, with all this interesting stuff with like the languages and the different, like the conflict, like how does this translate now into this new world? How do they deal with it? That's all out the window immediately. Like, I did just nothing with that. It's like, yeah, a couple thousand survivors. They building Hofen happily ever after, which is very me. Like I don't know. Like I don't enjoy tackling difficult topics.
So you just run over the top of them really fast.
And I want things to work out. That's just how I do.
Aww.
But it would have been interesting, but so this is like, yeah, so everything's just wasted, I guess. Except for the bow. I did remember the bow, I guess. I also don't remember how continuously I wrote this. Like, this could have been like a process of like a few weeks or like a few months. Probably not a few years, but... Yeah, Hofen's the village. Yeah, I mean, new world as well. First time I think it's clear that this is like not the same planet or realm or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Or was that mentioned before?
Unclear.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. They banded together and started to build simple tools, gathered materials, food and seeds. Okay. The land wasn't barren, luckily, but they still had to wait through the winter months. How though? That would have been interesting to see. A lot of opportunity for tension and conflict and...
Yeah, you could have written a few books about this paragraph.
Also a lot of opportunity for research on the author's part, so maybe that's why I didn't do that. But I don't know. Yeah,
there's a few missing words in these ones as well, like how many people stranded, like how many people were stranded after they realized how many were, and also like the land wasn't barren, but they still had to wait through the winter months, because like had to wait is like future tense. I know this is like nitpicky, but both of those have annoyed me.
Fair enough. Yeah.
What I do like,
my grammar is not good.
Oh, bless.
Was past tense. Was not good. It's pretty good now.
That's all right.
What I do like is the structure of this chapter so far is like you started off with the action and the talking, and then the internals, and then you went to the exposition. You didn't just like dump the exposition on us.
I mean, it's like a mix, but like I could have done everything as not like this is just very exposition, the last 2 paragraphs, right? But that's like the same thing I do with where I'm like, I don't want to show this. I want to write a different thing, so I just dump it and.
But I mean, that's like a pacing thing as well. Like it depends how fast you wanna go. I don't necessarily see that as a problem.
I know what you mean, but I think if you're skilled enough, you can do it in a way that the pacing doesn't suffer too much.
Yeah,
there's probably a better way to frame some of these data dumps. Like you could actually give him a reason to be thinking about these things. Like, because he just kind of goes from don't die on your first hunt to just thinking about what's happened over the last few months. Whereas if instead he'd kind of cast his eye around the settlement and been like, wow, look how far we've come. I can't believe only a couple of months ago we were starving and it was winter and, we'd barely been able to hunt enough to survive. And now we have blah, blah, blah. You could you could frame it in a way where it makes sense for him to be thinking about it and doesn't seem like exposition.
Yeah, I mean, but like Hesker's point was that, or at least I understand it that way, that then you have to write more and the pacing would slow down. But yeah, I think it's like, at least in this case, you could still keep the pacing the same.
No. What I was saying was like, like the execution is lacking a little bit, but I like the basic structure of this chapter.
Yeah.
So far.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair.
I prefer
think
more
that's
show,
correct.
but yeah, it's okay. It's like, it works. I guess I want to say something else. Oh yeah, it was so bad a few months ago when we had to eat people. That's why there's only a couple thousand left.
Yeah, also when he sort of goes casually, many died.
Is that after? Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Wow,
sorry, I always do
again.
that. Sorry, I can't help myself. It's just too exciting.
It's really exciting. Dawn is just a masterpiece. Many died in those first months, but many also survived and got stronger.
Because that's a lot to unpack. That sentence.
I like the repetition of many. It's so elementary. It's like a child is writing this. I love it. Many died in those first months, but many also survived. It's like when you start to answer something and you see the teachers like going like no, like shaking their head, and you're like, but many also survived, and then the teacher's like nodding, and you're like, and they got stronger, and the teacher's like, yes, very good, well done. Yeah. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, it's like, yeah, many died. We know that many survived. You already mentioned several thousand were building the city, so it's like, or like the village or whatever. Yeah, and got stronger. That is interesting because, I mean, we know from the first chapter that there were like stats and stuff. So you would assume that they have that as well and that they would talk about it. But Georg so far didn't mention any of that. So we don't know.
This is the first mention, the getting stronger. This is the first mention in Georg's chapters and also in this new world that Georg has been transported to of these mechanics, because like we obviously assume that he's in the world that the chapter 1 takes place in, but we don't know for sure.
I think that should be clear though, because didn't what's her name, Gwyneth or something?
Gwyneth, yeah.
I think she did mention the Hour of Hope or something, or like something. She did mention like one of those names.
She did mention the Hour of Hope. Yes, that's true.
So it would be.
Well, yeah, isn't she in the future?
Maybe. Maybe she's like in the same timeline now. I don't know. It's weird. I mean, yeah. I think I was just like, I want to do like an action, like I want to show her now. So I just wrote about her. I think what I did was just.
I went back to chapter 1 and it says Gwyneth 2 years after Hope.
Oh, okay. So it's even like
she's 2 years.
It's still unclear though if she's from the previous planet or if she's from this place.
This is.
Because we don't know if there were people there.
Hope.
Yeah.
So we know that we're a year and a half before Gwyneth, but we don't know if they're in the same place. But we assume they are.
Yeah.
Probably in this paragraph, we assume they are as well.
I mean, like multi POV. I think I was just like, it's cool. I think I read SOF like earlier that year or something, and I was like, I want to try that. It's cool. Like George did it, so I'll do it as well. And like multi POV is like, that's difficult.
Damn it, George.
Damn it, George, infecting the minds of the
youth.
Of the youth. It's the right to youth. I mean, I tried, I guess. Not very good, but like if you want to get better at writing, just write. You'll get better if you're open to criticism and stuff. Yeah. They banded together and started to build. Oh no, that's already, we did that, right? Many died in this first month. Many also got stronger. That turned out to be some sort of leveling system. Oh, there you go. Not unlike some video games popular before the Great War. Okay. But unlike most video games, those stats and skills didn't really make living here much easier.
That's like the most boring way to introduce a system ever.
Yeah. It's just hell. I mean, the thing is, like, it was
Well,
already
and also-
introduced. It was already introduced though with Gwyneth, and that was fun and action, and there was blood and stuff. So, just saying.
But what I mean is, this guy is supposedly, in quotation marks, normal guy coming from like a normal world that doesn't have magic.
I mean, he had like
Into a world that
explosive
runs-
arrows. So maybe he's like, this is fucking boring. What is this video game bullshit? I want my explosive arrows back.
Yeah, but he was still Hawkeye.
That could be true. But as a reader, right, the thing you would assume in a lit RPG story that's going to be most exciting to the reader is like, wow, this guy has video game powers. That's super exciting to me. And instead, the character who introduces these really cool mechanics just goes, oh yeah, whatever, they exist. No biggie.
Yeah, but that's the
It's
thing.
like,
It was
what?
already introduced. That's what I'm saying. Like Gwyneth did that. That was already in
No,
chapter
but the thing
one,
is, this
right?
is the first time he has been introduced.
Yeah,
to
yeah,
it.
sure. But maybe that was me just being like, I was already. So, you know, I have to mention it though, because he's the exposition guy. So, I guess.
Exposition guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he is.
What a shit job.
Wow. There had to be some sort of leveling system, not unlike some video games popular before the Great War. Like most video games. That line I don't get, like, but unlike most video games, those stats and skills didn't really make living here much easier. But isn't that just untrue? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we already, like, if chapter 1 there were like wolves, and like, I mean, she survived, she didn't die, right? So that already helped her making life much easier in this new world. So it seems very like, this is rough, and we have met really cool gaming powers that make life much easier, but it doesn't really make life easier.
I
because...
presume you were trying to say, like, you know, stuff is miserable and we're struggling.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense in the context.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just stupid. Like, it's just me telling that life is hard, but there's this cool stuff, though. It's like, I want the dark setting, but I don't know how to do that. So it's just like, yeah. Like, I mean, you can write like a very like grimdark kind of lit RPG, but that's not what I can do. let alone what I could do at the time, right? So, yeah. Thought, if it wasn't for the pain and terror, the beginners might survive. What?
The beginners.
Who are the beginners?
I don't know.
Oh, I think I meant like just the new students, the new batch or whatever he's training, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, like the people learning to
Shoot bows, I guess.
shoot bows.
I assume, or it's some kind of gamey thing, but I don't think I really.
Well, yeah, because the paragraph that preceded this was that they didn't make living easier here, these skills, right? So I guess what he's saying is, if it wasn't for the pain and terror, as in video games don't really have real pain or real fear,
Yeah,
beginners
okay,
might survive longer enough to actually make use of these abilities,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, and then it's linked to this next sentence, right?
I never thought the simple confusion spell would create a worse headache than frag grenades exploding next to your head. I like that.
Yeah, that's quite
It's a cool
nice.
sentence. That's a very visual sentence.
Yeah.
But
So,
also,
so I
think
could
it
write
clarifies
the
the
dark.
previous sentence.
Yeah, like the previous was just like, it sucks, and now it's like, oh shit, that's bad.
Yeah, because I think what he's trying to say is, when a video game is real, it's actually super shit, right?
Yeah.
Like a confusion spell in a game, your avatar just goes around in circles a few times. You're like, oh, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But in real life, you're like, oh, my head, I can't understand what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminds
There's a lot to unpack in that there, actually. That's quite a cool
Yeah, I like
paragraph.
that. That is very showy. Yeah, it's also fucked up. Like, it just implies so much with just that little, like, if you, depending on your imagination, right? But it's like some
Yeah.
black mirror kind of shit, right? It's like a,
No, I think
yeah.
that's a hugely loaded sentence. I like that quite a lot because, you know, a lot of people will be sitting here thinking, because in that sentence where I was literally saying to you, he's not excited enough about the powers. Now,
Yeah.
actually, this sentence shows why he's not that excited about the
Yeah,
powers.
he's like, this
'cause
is
actually,
worse than war. Like,
Yeah, this is
or like,
shit.
this is worse than the tech we had before. Which, or like, yeah, I mean, that's what he's doing with the frag grenade comparison, right? I mean, I guess a frag grenade exploding next to your head is like death, but, you know, maybe they had like really good helmets. I don't know. I mean, shrapnel, maybe that would actually help, but I don't know. Probably not. Yeah. That's interesting, yeah. It reminds me of like this really old lit RPG that was on Royal Road ages ago about like a VR MMO where pain was the same as in real life.
Oh.
and it was kind of like the author, like, I think, and this is like, I don't remember shit about this, but I think it was like that was the draw why people wanted to play it, because it was like exciting. It was like an extreme sport or something.
Right,
and I think
like hardcore, like...
one of the reviews or something, it just said like, why the fuck would people play this? It sucks. I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, it was funny. Okay. So, and here it's like
if somebody
so
told me,
like...
here's a VR headset, we're gonna go play a game where the pain is real, I'd be like, no thanks.
Yeah, generally, like, VR headset and actual pain, like, go away. No. So,
no, thank you.
No. Who tested this? Like, how did they crunch this stuff? I don't like that. Okay. He entered the village square and looked for Agrid. Again, square, like, what if it's round? How do you call that? Is it still a square?
I think so.
Right? I had this question and everyone was like, oh, what the fuck is this idiot asking? And I was like, are you guys right? Like, just tell me. Like...
I think it's just an open area,
it just
but
doesn't make sense to me. Like, because if I write, like, he entered the round village square, that sounds...
I would have said courtyard.
It's cute.
Yeah, sure, there's like synonym.
Crisis.
But I mean, there's no synonym for square. If it's a courtyard, yes, but not every square is a courtyard, right?
I would say like village gathering place or something if it was round.
Yeah, that's stupid. That's not a synonym. That's
That's
like...
I love that. I love that. It's good. You're stupid. You're stupid, and you should be ashamed for that suggestion.
Yeah, I mean, I can also, like, he entered the village place with rocks on the ground.
Just build.
I'm just dissing English because it doesn't...
Square, damn it. Stop making trouble for yourself.
That just annoys. Yeah, that's
Who's
what I mean.
DMing
That's what
this game
anyway? That is literally what I'm doing. Every square is just square because there's no word for it. In German it's like Platz, and like in Italian it's like piazza, right? And I think in French as well, like something with place. I don't remember. Whatever. Doesn't matter.
You could say the town plaza. Plaza is a word in English.
Plaza?
Plaza implies lines to me. I don't know.
I don't know. It's just annoying me because only because round square sounds stupid. Like if it square wouldn't mean square as well as square, then I would be fine with it. But it does, so I'm like.
But didn't somebody come up with a word? They told us didn't Raven say it was called like a there was a word for it.
Maybe.
Damn it!
I don't remember. Oh, I just wanted to rant. Whatever.
And English has a lot of words, so probably there's like 10 different words that we're not aware of that work for this.
I mean, I can actually look it up now. Right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up now.
When we finally post this podcast, there'll be like people sounding off in the comments. There'll be like 50 different options.
These idiots, like, yes, write your own story. I'm an idiot. Look at my shitty writing. Just do it. Just go write cool stuff. Square. Four-sided. Old-fashioned. Why it has so many meanings? Munich Park. Area. Circle.
I'm just getting like a weird.
There's not even. It doesn't even suggest to me, like, there's not even like a.
What about synonyms for like plaza? Like.
Yeah, because on square it doesn't even show up as like an option. It doesn't. It's like municipal park. Is that like what? Plaza. Central location, comma, spot. And it shows park or square. Court. Yeah, but that's like a court. The common. Green. But that's again very specific. Village green. This is nothing, or at least not anything that's like obvious. Because I don't know, I mean, I assume the site
is quite an obscure term.
Like this is thesaurus.com, so I assume this should have most words, but maybe there's like some really obscure shit that's out there. Or like some other language stuff. But yeah, that's just annoying me always. It's like, well, why?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, I mean, I've used town square tons of times before to describe places that weren't actually square, which is kind of probably weird, but whatevs.
Yeah, because I imagine a square then, but yeah, I don't know.
English is just
It's like an unfortunate synonym. I mean, English has that with like puns. Like whenever I write puns, it's on accident because I don't write. I hate them. I hate it so much.
Really?
And it happens in English. Yes, and you know this.
I feel like Elia kind of likes
sarcastic them. Little shit. Yeah, maybe I did at the beginning. I don't remember. It was ages ago. Maybe I started my hate for it for some other reason. I don't know.
Yeah, there was definitely some. I have a document
where you have
puns.
What,
you mean like saving his references to puns?
Yeah, pretty much.
Just for this moment. Hesketh has been preparing for this moment for entire life.
Yeah, that's why I hire an editor to look for puns and remove them. That's so thoughtful of you. Thank you. Okay.
Interesting segue.
He entered the village square and looked for Ygritte. She was a city planner before coming here, and tries with many others to put an acceptable town together amidst the crime and monster attacks.
Tried.
What?
Tries.
No, that's fine. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, bro? That's
tenses are wrong.
What the tenses are free for all. You just choose one. They're available, so why not use them? Like
they're available.
It's way more interesting. Have you ever asked the tense, may I not? And they were like, no, you may not. No.
So this is pick and mix. The tense is pick and mix. Just
It's like one of those stories where they roll the dice to see what happens. It's like this D&D stories. So I just roll the dice and
pick your own adventure.
It's like a tense die. I mean, I like that she's like, I acknowledge at least that they were like city planners. So it's like, I like that about like the setting in a sense that like, I didn't read that much, honestly, but like, I don't remember a story where like an entire population was isekai'd. I remember stories where like a school or like a class or something, but it's usually about one person and then it's like a self-insert thing. Because what I like to try and do in my writing is like to not do the chosen one or like the main character is the best ever, which I fail at, but I try and make them work for what they get usually. I know in Ezra and Fury it doesn't really, I can talk about that, but like, this is cool. Like, I like it because it implies everyone was moved and they have a lot of resources they can use from these people. On the other hand, I'm not a city planner, so I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I guess city planners design cities, so this is fair enough. Oh, this is something I noticed. Sorry, go on.
I thought the reference to crime was interesting in the sentence. Because it actually sounds like in the opening paragraph that he's describing something that's like relatively utopian, and that like he's like, hey, we'll pull together and put together this, this little family, and it's all this little city. And he's teaching these kids how to use their bows and arrows, and it's great. But then just like subtly, there's this reference to the crime and monster attacks, and I'm like, oh, okay, so everything's not okay in this city.
But also someone's casting confusion spells on him.
Exactly.
And presumably those spellcasters are human.
Yeah, so it's scary as fuck. Like there's a lot of like implication with or like you mean he's confused right now, or that's why the writing is bad. Human. Sorry, we talked over each other. What did you say?
I said, like, because Hesketh said that confusion spells suggest that there are humans casting spells, and I was like, well, I don't know about that, because there's monsters. There's quite potential that monsters are casting spells. Like,
true.
I mean, those can cast spells.
Yeah, some.
Liches, for example.
Oh, interesting. What an interesting mention, Brooke. Is that an accident? I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it just came to my mind.
Mm-hmm. Can't we just make a constitution or something? What? It's like specifically the constitution, right? Of America.
Yeah, there are constitutions. Like New Zealand has a constitution.
Yeah, we've got one in theory.
But if there's no constitution, then there's no crime because there's no defined law.
That's true.
So
But I mean, people would still probably refer to murder as crime, even if they haven't made a law in this new world.
Why?
Because it's human nature.
You think so?
Yeah.
That's an interesting discussion.
Yeah, it's human nature to like follow the patterns that you've followed in the past. If I got Isekai to another world and somebody punched me in the face, I wouldn't be like, well, in this world it's not an issue.
But it's subjective to Georg.
Why would you expect people to behave better? If anything, they're going to be worse because there's less resources.
Also, like, we don't know.
Think they're going to be worse.
We don't know the laws.
The terminologies aren't going to change.
Yeah, but we don't know the laws of the old world here, so there could be.
True, I mean
that's also true. We're assuming. I mean, obviously, it was more like our world than this one, but it wasn't our world.
It's true. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
So fair points.
Yeah, but then you can question everything because it's fiction, right? That's stupid.
I do question everything.
Always.
Why we're here?
Why are we here? Oh, is it like? You mean here in this valley? Yeah, some people are gonna get that reference, right? I think it was that one, right? It's a puma. No, it's not a puma. Okay. It's still more reminiscent of apes or barbarians instead of humans. Oh, can't we just make this? Reminiscent of apes or barbarians instead of. I mean, what's the difference between
he's thinking.
Apes?
He's not talking again. He's thinking here.
Yeah. But what's the difference between apes and humans? Law, civilization. He's just Judge Dredd. He's like, I'm the law. So that's why I can talk about crime, even though there's no constitution. That makes sense. He's the judge and executioner. Okay.
The thing that I find weird here is that he's saying that barbarians are different to humans. Barbarians are generally humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like more in a
barbaric
sense.
Behavior.
Yeah, like when the Romans are like in Gladiator. I don't know if the Romans actually did that, but like the barbarians, like when they talk about uncivilized people
Vandals.
with
then I think what's missing is the word civilized here. So like it's more reminiscent of apes or barbarians instead of civilized humans. I think it's just missing the of civilized humans instead of just humans.
But I think it's also because there's so much missing. We're just sort of trying to figure out. We're trying to.
This chapter is jumping from idea to idea pretty quick. Like.
Yeah, but that's just the way I think, I guess. So I just write it down. I'm like, when I have conversations, I mean, it's kind of obvious now if like people listen to this. Like, I just, what's square and why did the Romans really call people barbarians, or was that just in the movie? And does crime exist? It's like, it's just it's a skill to actually write something in
a lot
cohesive manner, right? So that people understand what the fuck you mean. Because I mean, for me, that wasn't like clear. I mean, the thing is also like when I started writing, I didn't really consider the reader. I was just like, I like this stuff, so I'm gonna write as like a pastime. Like, I don't know. So
a stream of consciousness.
Yeah, kind of like a story, something like I'm interested in. And I mean, it's like the world building happens as I go as well. So it's like, yeah, that's just how it is, I guess. He found Ygritte in the middle of schooling some seemingly former architects. What?
Seemingly former architects.
Yeah, seemingly was a word. I had a guy that like did edits for me at some point. And that's one thing he found, that I use seemingly all the time. That was like one of my words, like the words that you always use. I still use it sometimes. But he was like, either it is or it isn't. Like, it's not seemingly. It's like, why?
Well, they seem to Georg to be former architects, but I'm
no. It's just me. It's my author mind where I'm like, author mind. Wow, that's a pretentious thing. Most pretentious thing I've said ever. Maybe. Probably not. But, it's pretty close. See, like, there goes again the tangents. Like, I'm just losing it. Going somewhere else. Back to seemingly. Because I'm not sure. I'm like,
you haven't decided yet.
Yeah, like I'm just like, it's just, I'm writing it, so it's like, I guess they're seemingly former. They're like, maybe they're former architects, are they? And then I'm already at the next sentence, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. Seemingly.
It's actually super common. Like a lot of writers use seemingly, apparently, and actually most of the time they're filler words because like the author is just kind of like, well, like I don't want to do like I don't want to commit to something, and so they put like seemingly or apparently,
Right.
and it's also like it's a more passive way of having the main character observe something because the main character's not sure of what they're seeing. They're like, oh, it's probably this because that's what I'm seeing, but most of the time those words can be deleted because generally they don't actually add much to the narrative, even if they're technically correct and he's not 100% sure that they're former architects. You don't really need to know that he's not sure unless it's important to the plot.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit fluffy.
So what you're saying is based on your editing experience, writers have a tendency to have commitment issues.
I think that's a fair call. Okay. Yeah, I think that's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying as an editor, I'm pretty much a relationship counselor.
I'll have to talk to my psychiatrist about this. It's a huge finding. I told you the wall has priority. I don't give two shits about your family not having their own house.
Nice.
I like that. I like that character. Whoever's saying that, fuck yeah. Like, fuck off. Their own house. What is this?
That's a good question.
Capitalism?
Because I'm like, is it Georg? Is it Agrid? Is it someone we haven't met?
I think it's Agrid. Pretty sure.
Ah.
Or like, I mean, I'm assuming. I don't know. Yeah. There are enough people building, though. It's only a side project. Wow. What an ass. My house takes priority. Okay. Alright, look. You can build it if you want. In the forest right next to the bears. How does that sound? Ooh, the mauling bears. This is very good characterization. I like it. If it would be clear who's talking. But this phantom character, I like them.
it just needs more around it to give us context.
Yeah. But it's like one of those
who's saying what?
Introduction scenes that it makes sense that they would talk about this in this context. But it also does a lot for the character, and it also does a bit of exposition with like they're building a wall and there's bears in the forest. We know that already, but like there's more than one now. And they're all bloodthirsty, mauling monsters. Okay. And Georg is thinking again, she's doing a great job. Glad we're having her. I guess that implies it's Agrid or like someone else that he likes, but I don't know. Yeah.
Talking to the seemingly former architects.
Yes.
Who are giving her lip.
Yes. Wanting their own houses.
Homelessness.
I mean, it's not about that they're homeless, it just means they have to share a house with other people, I guess.
Oh, you see, I was assuming that they're like literally like, you know, I mean, in the cold, like starving to death because they have no roof.
Interesting. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, fair enough. It's
with
not
their
really...
kids.
I say fair enough a lot.
Through the
like,
night.
I listened to the last episode and I said fair enough about 300 times. So if you want to play a drinking game, just go back and listen to it. And every time I say fair enough, you take a shot. Don't do it alone at home. It's bad. It's alcoholism.
This has been our PSA announcement.
Mm-hmm. Important. It's very underappreciated horrible sickness. Okay, she's doing a great job. Clever having her. He thought as he listened with an amused look on his face. Wow, this is such a self-insert line. All of this, like, ugh. I'm just like, I'm patting myself on the shoulder, like, great character you did there. I agree with this myself. Okay. You're finally here, Georg. Cut that smug look and come walk with me. Okay. She dismissed the architects, the seeming architects, and motioned him to follow.
He would be a good opportunity for some description of anything.
What do you mean?
Maybe like Agrid, like we know that she is a woman.
We know that she is Agrid. And we know
she used to be a town planner.
They can walk.
But is she 7? Is she 70? Is she?
Yes. But them.
What is she wearing? Is she still naked? Like, you know, I have so many questions.
But them walking implies there's floor.
Fair.
So that's.
And it is. You know, what is it? We do know the season.
Summer. I mean, we don't know if it's
summer.
The same kind of summer in this place as it is on wherever we were before. I mean, there was like Brazil and stuff, so I assume that's Earth. But like, we don't know that. Yeah, true. But it's summer. Yeah. And there's architects, and there's a wall. So isn't that enough for you? Like a wall, some floor?
No, I'm very greedy. I want more.
Gender. It's just so difficult as an author of quality fiction. I have to check on the food supply and possible grains so we can do this on the way. How do the new recruits look? See, now it's recruits. That's better than disciples and beginners. Or disciples. I'm sorry, I pronounced it wrong. I don't know if I've ever pronounced that word ever. Disciple.
Disciples.
Disciple. Disciples. About 300 started this month, and they're doing all right. We just don't have nearly enough weapons to properly equip and train people. That's good. I like that line. Again, like there's a lot for the world building. First the wall, afterwards tools, and especially bows. Why?
Yes.
It's like, this is just bow fiction. This is like a bow-lit RPG. It's like a new sub-genre. Any progress on the rules this world has and about the beasts in the vicinity? I mean, yeah, it's like asking for exposition.
And I've also like lost track of who's talking now.
Why? It's absolutely clear. It's like one, then there's like another M dash.
So who's talking?
There's another M dash.
So who is it, Rhaegar?
I don't know.
Who's talking?
The funny thing would be if it afterwards said, he said, then she said, then he said, then. That would be cool. But it's not.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, no, she's saying I have to check on the food supply. Then he answers the question,
so that's
right?
Georg.
Then it's her again. Then it's him again, right?
Okay, all right, fair.
So just have to reread it 4 times, then you understand.
Yeah, I'm just not paying attention enough.
Yeah, sure. So it's a reader problem. It's not a writer problem.
That's right.
I am God. While the wolves, like, you get a wall and nothing else, and the floor and the square. While the wolves and bows, a lot of bows. While the wolves and bears. While the wolves seem to be around level 5 or 6. We haven't managed to bring a bear down yet, but one of my guys was hit and didn't die.
He didn't die.
That's good for him. He's currently level 16, so the bear is probably in his 20s. I like that. They're like testing with people.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume that's an accident. He's not like, it's like one of my guys was hit. It wasn't like we made him get hit or like he wanted to get hit. Or that again would be very cool. Like if the guy was like, he offered to get hit because he's just so tough. Also, this is very gamey. It's like the system is very like, if you're higher level, like they can't kill a bear with a bow because they don't have enough levels, which is like an MMO. Like you get into like a new area and you can't kill them if you're under-leveled, right? It's like a hard cap kind of thing to damage, which I hate now. Like I never do that anymore. Fucking stupid, boring. And it's like much easier to allow like if you want to write like a progression fantasy with like a main character that is badass and overpowered, it's much more reasonable to have them kill a very strong creature if the world allows it, right? Because otherwise it's just, yeah, I mean in this scenario, like how the fuck did...
That's the difference. Sorry, that's the difference between Isekai and VR, right? Because in VR, you can't be like, oh, a level 5 went and killed level 100 just because they're good at the game, unless you very specifically explain how the rules allow it. But in an Isekai world, if like real physics and real life rules also apply, you can be like, okay, well, your fireball happened to hit them in the throat and it burned out their throat and they died, even though they were level 100.
Yeah.
Like,
but then the issue with that is like, if you allow the rules, like if you have real life rules, then it all has to be consistent. And then it's like it's improbable that your main character is the only person that ever did that shit. And yeah, I mean VR is just, I know what you mean. It's like generally done that way, but there are like exceptions to the rule. Also in video games, like something like Dark Souls, you can beat with on level 1 if you're good enough, and something like what's it called, like Pillars of Eternity, I think the speedrun uses like it's like a turn-based RPG, I think. I'm not sure if it's turn-based actually, but I think. And they use like, there's like a chest, some chest where you can put stuff in, and they use like they put like a lot of stones or something very heavy inside, and then they throw the box at people. And because the box is that heavy, it just kills them instantly, because you're basically throwing like, but because it's you can throw the box because the box itself has like a throwing thing, it works. There's like some rules that you can break and some that allow for this to happen, which is an interesting thing to explore, like if you want to do like bugs and stuff.
Yeah, a lot of things have like glitches in them. A lot of like lit RPGs is like the main character like finds some particular build where they combine two skills and it's like, you know, becomes super OP, or they find a glitch in the game that means that, I think even in like, you know, some of the latest books, there's just like, oh, you know, you went to an area that wasn't supposed to be like released yet, or you glitched out into a different place, and therefore you've got like OP abilities.
But then I would like it to be like something that more than one person can do. Because it usually felt like, oh yeah, it's just the main character that got this, and that's kind of like, it's similar to like Chosen One, which is like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, in Azurin's case, which annoyed me after the fact, like she got like her class kind of randomly, like it was very given to her. Whereas now I would probably write it differently. I would probably somehow do it so that she has to fight first and gets an upgrade later on, but. Yeah, at the time
I kind of like the randomness of it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's okay. It's like not the worst.
It's different, and it's like it's not like you have this plot.
And there are like other powerful people, so it doesn't really. Yeah, but I still dislike it. I just like it when like a character does something that they do, and then because of what they did, stuff happens, and not like, oh, she gets this cool class, and like, oh, she's suffering though, but is she though? Like. Never mentioned. It's just whatever. Yeah, and like if the character's actually suffering, then it's not fun to read. So it's like, yeah, fuck that.
But it's the execution, isn't it? It's got to read satisfying, whatever you choose.
Yeah, and I mean in that case, like I don't think a lot of people complain about it. Like there's like a lot of like, yeah, she worked for it like afterwards as well. The thing is, like I did it okay afterwards, but just how she got the class was kind of meh. Like, this case was actually better with, like, the Berserker kid getting her class, where she's, like, defending her sister or some shit. And she's actually fighting these monsters and she's freaking out.
Because it's a character moment.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it feels more deserved. And it's just a Berserker class. It's not like this special super Berserker that no one else got, but she got it, and she's now dual-wielding logs, and it's awesome. No, it's just like, yeah, she's a Berserker. There's others being Berserkers.
Bring on the Highland Games.
Yeah. So this world has like rules of levels, I guess. So they couldn't have killed the bear early on anyway. It was lucky that that guy was dragged off and killed. He wasn't dragged off though. He's still there, suffering. Maybe he's surviving.
Yeah, they just left him.
He's like, there could be a spin-off where it's his story, like he's survived and he
Man versus bear.
Man versus bear. He wants his revenge. I mean, it's just Revenant, right? I don't know, he killed the bear. Oh, sorry, spoilers.
Chewed his leg off at the knee.
Did he kill the bear? I don't remember now.
I don't remember.
I think he did, and then he was like stuck on him, right? And it was like this horrific. I love the scene where they eat meat at the fire. Interesting, we have to rewatch that. Sorry, it's like tangent. Also, we're like at an hour, so we could stop after this paragraph, I guess. Probably his turn is. We couldn't try any advanced weaponry yet because of lacking metals and knowledge. What? Oh. Well, that was the whole stuff that was happening. Yeah, okay, whatever. Sorry, I had a Discord issue just now. Because of lacking metals and knowledge, you'd think at least somebody can forge a gun from scratch. I think making guns is super easy, right? If you know what you do.
Is it? I was gonna say, like, if your average person was isekai, like, how much would you actually be able to do?
I mean, no, I wouldn't be able to do it, but, like, I think there's, like, plenty of people that could build a gun. It's not that complex of a
Really?
thing. I mean, it's just a tube with a bunch of stuff in it.
But I mean, just making gunpowder, you know, like you're. I mean, I
yeah,
know
I mean,
the
you need
recipe,
them as
but I couldn't
you need
do
the
it.
materials, but
depending on the society and the level of technology and technological advancements of the people who've been isekai, I reckon you can take 2,000 random people just from the world at large, and I can guarantee you would not be able to make a gun.
That's my point. Yeah,
you need someone who can do metallurgy in terms of metallurgy, in terms of like you need to know which ore can be melted down and made into, you know, metal. You need to know how to identify those ores in the ground. You need to be able to figure out like how to make things, how to actually melt them down and cast them into a workable cylindrical tube. You need to figure out what ingredients are in gunpowder without actually blowing yourself up and dying. Like 2,000 people would not, in my opinion, be able to make a gun. However,
that's an interesting
world, so.
Because I think like, I mean, I'm not talking about like an M16 rifle. I'm talking about like a tube that can propel something out of it.
I'm with Brooke on this one. I don't think anyone could do it.
You just need.
I think it would take us 600 years to develop gunpowder.
Really?
Yes.
Knowing how it works and everything.
I have very little faith in humanity.
I mean,
different
maybe.
thing. If you do a cross section, if you have a scientist with them who would know about ancient societies, I'd be like, okay, sweet, no worries.
But they have a lot of soldiers. Like there was like a long war and stuff. And like, I mean, the thing is like the concept of how a gun works already gives you a lot. So you just have to experiment with stuff you find. You just need a chemical reaction that can be an explosion, basically. And then you need a tube that can hold that. And that could be like...
I personally think that's a little naive. I think it's a lot more complicated.
It's not going to be accurate. It's not going to work very well. And it's probably going to kill you when you use it.
That is how everybody's fingers got blown off.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I mean. Like, I mean, like fireworks are just a bunch of tubes made of carton, and it's like I'm very interested.
I mean,
I'm very interested in like
know...
the gun people that listen to this. Like, if what your take is on this, because I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just talking out of my ass.
But like the people who know guns, like I know the recipe is like sulfur and like saltpeter, but I don't know where you would find that.
Yeah, but that's just specifically gunpowder. That's like the most efficient, best thing that was easy to make at the time, I assume. But there's like other stuff that can explode shit, right? I assume. Also, there's magic, so like that, you know, it's like.
Okay, magic, fair.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's a different point. Like, that's not the point I wanted to make. Like, with magic, it's probably easy. But that's magic. Magic is so easy to use as, like, a Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know how it would be, but something about it makes me skeptical.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be completely wrong.
What would happen? Yeah, now I want to know.
No, it is interesting.
There's probably, like, a YouTube series, like a movie or, like, a show on this. Like, something like Forged in Fire or some shit where people just try to make a gun. That has to be. America, come on. America can't disappoint me. They have done this 100%. They took normal people and let them just try shit out. Okay. But we'll move on. Because otherwise, the people that actually know about this are going to get like a fucking headache worse than a confusion spell. So we're not going to do that. Yeah. Only wolves and bears. Didn't those games have more enemies? Yeah, but it's not a game. It's just like a game. But that's just me acknowledging that I didn't do a lot of monsters.
Yet.
And doing the thing where, like, as a writer, you acknowledge it, but then you just move on. Like, oh, that's weird that there's nothing else but a square and a wall in this city and some seeming architects. But whatever, that's just how it is. Like, if a character acknowledges it, that's reality, right? And as a reader, it's less annoying because it's like... And I think that actually works. So yeah, if you're too lazy to do world building, you can just be like, this is weird. Yeah. We're only scratching on the surface. Scratching on the surface. That's wrong, right? Scratching the surface, right? Yeah, it's German.
Scratching the surface, yeah.
On is a bit more visceral. Like
actually scratching a specific surface. Maybe they are. Who knows? Most beasts we encounter are actually attacking us. We haven't ventured far into the forest, not without proper gear. Can't wait to find bloody elves. Oh, that's a foreshadowing.
I was going to say, that is a promise your readers.
For the story I wrote 2 stories after this, I guess. Bloody elves.
No elves.
I mean, who knows?
No elves in Dawn?
I don't remember, maybe.
Now I'm worried.
I actually don't remember, honestly. I was like, no, but then I'm like, actually, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good point to stop, I guess.
Yeah, it's probably a good place to stop at the promise
continue
of bloody
next time
elves.
at the promise of bloody elves and like how to make guns, I guess. And gunpowder and all that stuff.
We can do research.
Yeah, sure. In what time? Okay. Yeah, But this was The Dawn of Writing, episode, I don't know, chapter 3. This was Rhaegar with Brooke.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
And Hesketh.
Bye.
Yeah, and yeah, I hope you had fun. Bye-bye. Peace. Have a good one.